we don't have any fakers this time.
Well, I kept it off any open Facebook stuff, which I think may have led to our,
Yeah.
possibly.
And we did one thing differently today on the website with the board pack. The audio instructions are there, so you have to sign into the portal, which was another layer of security.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, I think we're ready.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone.
Well, I have everyone muted, sorry,
Okay.
just in case.
We're good, yeah.
We're going to start tonight's meeting with members' time. Has anybody signed up to speak? Would anybody like to ask a question?
There's a couple.
Okay.
Okay, you gotta hold it.
Okay.
Like,
If not, we'll start the meeting now. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02. Roll call.
2, okay, roll call, I'm assuming, it was,
See, that new security keeps everyone in the loop, so I might have to pop up here often. Did you see somebody?
no, I was asking, I didn't know if Bill or John Eddie were joining.
I don't think they will.
They weren't.
John said no for sure.
Okay, all right.
Bill did as well.
Okay, so attendance, roll call is Pat McGrail,
Present.
John Eddie is not, Doug Henley,
Here.
Bill Leisha is not, John Newport,
Here.
Bob Fuller,
Here.
Dave Fiola is 5, that is our quorum, Madam President.
Thanks, Dave. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda? Doug Newport, second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Doug. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 21st, 2020 board meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Doug,
I'll second.
seconded by Bob. Any questions on the motion?
Two questions.
Okay.
There was some discussion on whether or not was it Sanger buys, is it the 2020 election or the 2021 election? If you remember, I sent that out. I just wanted to double check to make
Yeah, I
sure
think it's
that.
technically 2021 toward the.
But it is the 2020 election.
Correct.
For next year.
held in 2020 to elect board members taking on the
So as long as it's correct in
Yeah.
the minutes, I just wanted to make sure. And then anything on pet policy that were we gonna adjust anything on that,
Which policy?
on the pet policy with regard to the leash that was added?
It was approved, Dave had emailed an objection to it, and.
Well, because it varied from what was approved in November, and there was no red line or
Correct.
anything pointed out when we approved it recently. So my question was only, is there anything that is needed on that, or are we gonna move forward with making, because that's a significant change in the policy where leashes weren't necessarily, it was control that was the main thing.
Correct.
Now we're saying it's leash or nothing, and then we have to make sure that we're.
That's not a minute issue.
Right.
Okay, I'm just making
That's
sure.
a policy issue. So this is what happened at the meeting.
Okay, so we're approving the minutes. Okay, I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Pat. So as I customarily do, I'll combine the treasurer's report with the finance committee and audit committee reports. Just kind of using the treasurer's performance dashboard. This is really the first month of the new year, since we are a fiscal year running from July 1 through June 30th. So I'm pleased to report that for the first month of activity, we're tracking nicely with our budget. We are approximately $1,600 under budget in terms of what we had projected for our surplus. We're showing about a $5,000 surplus for the first month of the year, but in line with our revenue and expense expectations. Our receivables, given all of the things that are happening and some of the bad economic news that you hear, our receivables, we're still experiencing a very low rate of delinquencies based on the current information that I received today. 93.5% of our homeowners are current on their stuff. So I think that's really good news. Really good news. So our investments continue to do well also, as of July 31st, we showed $2.4 million in the reserve replacement fund. The investments have recovered along with the market, right, since the dip that we took at the end of March. Our capital budget for the year is $405,000, and we have started spending some money there. We have completed our road paving work of $110,000. We've spent about a quarter of the budget. And in addition to that, a number of contracts have been approved already for some retaining wall work, for the ongoing work on Imperial Road, and for some engineering work at the Gardner Road block project. We do have one contract that is coming due here of our major contracts, and that's our security contract that comes due at the end of November. RFPs were sent out, and we have received 3 responses. The Finance Committee will be meeting to review those responses next week and make a recommendation to the board. On the second page of the performance dashboard are some of what I would call the non-financial things that I do track. The maintenance department continues to work diligently on the work orders that we have received. They're low below target, but I'm sure seasonal things and just other projects have gotten in the way there a little bit. Some other things to just bring to everyone's attention, the pool visits, even with just one pool operating for the month of July, we had 3,910 pool visits. So it's just amazing to me how popular those are. We continue to see a nice level of growth in our number of email subscribers. So every time I report on this, it kind of goes up a little bit. So we're up to 1,123 active email addresses that we're using. And the real estate market here at Hidden Valley continues to be quite surprising. For just the 2-month period, July 1 through August 39, there were 39 units sold, and so the most recent report I received from Mike Mikulich at Berkshire Hathaway, there were 22 units for sale, which is 2% of the mountains, which in the 14 years I have been a homeowner, I have never heard of it being that low. So a very strong real estate market right now. As mentioned, the Finance Committee will be meeting on Monday night. We'll be reviewing on Monday night the 21st. We'll be reviewing the security proposals that have been received. We'll also be looking over our investments and doing a couple of other housekeeping items. The Audit Committee will be meeting soon as our annual audit of our financial statements is currently underway. Expect that to be completed in October as usual. The committee will meet with the auditors then, and the report will be finalized, and as is our practice, a copy will be sent to all of the homeowners. Pat, that concludes my treasurer's report.
Thanks, Bob. Is there a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Go ahead. I'll make the motion.
Second. Motion by Doug, seconded by John Newport. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. John Sabo?
Well, good evening, everyone. I have a very brief report tonight. Wanted to let the board know the snow policy that is currently in existence in the last RFP is in your package for reference. As Bob already mentioned, the pool usage was remarkable considering the situation. And I want to extend my appreciation to the entire community. It was a pleasant and enjoyable situation. We had essentially no issues. We've had a lot of compliments of the board's courage of allowing the pool to be open given COVID, so I wanted to pass on those. We do have a fairly large announcement that some people may not have seen. Penelec was scheduled for a power outage involving half of the mountain, and that was to take place on Tuesday. Penelec's crews have been dispatched to Florida, Alabama, and Louisiana. So the power outage that was scheduled for next week, has been indefinitely postponed. And we don't argue with that. Wanted to report to the board that the fall color change has taken place, so the spring flowers are out and the mums are in. JML is continuing, their efforts. We're continuing to receive compliments, so the change in their leadership and methodologies have continued to bear fruit. They will be performing, some grass treatment, whether permissible, in the next 4 weeks, so when it comes to that time, we'll make sure it's in the weekly update. It's primarily a weed-in feed, to help mitigate some of our dandelions that grew amazingly well this year.
In that heat.
Yes. I also wanted to, again, encourage the community, if they witness a violation, please contact Foundation Security. It's an amenity that's available 24/7, 365. The reason I bring it up is there was a minor incident down at the Heights, a fairly new owner, dog issue. She waited to call us till today, so again, if there's an issue that you need assistance, 24/7, security is available. And other than that, that is all I have to report, Madam President.
Great. I think we have a page from, our maintenance supervisor. Any highlights there, John?
The only highlight is, it's amazing what they're able to complete with one person off on sick. The contracts with the drainage work is proceeding as planned on Imperial. The contractor and the retaining walls that Bob had mentioned are in process. The trash blind work that was 6 weeks' worth has concluded. We did discover a few of the blinds that will need some capital investment. Brian sent that report to Bob this week. Other than that, I want to also remind the community, on behalf of Brian's report, recycling pickup is back to every 2 weeks. So next week will be the pickup, and then every 2 weeks forward will be the pickup.
Related to that point, John, I think it's fairly apparent that more people are here on a full-time basis. And I think we really need to make sure that our garbage pickup frequency is appropriate.
I'm glad you mentioned, the best estimate staff has is we're at 180 full-time residents. 2 full-timers just moved in my neighborhood this week. So in gauging the volume, we are seeing, the bin is actually full as we speak. It's not due for pickup for 6 days.
And I think that's a problem. I mean, that's, I had a number of conversations with people when I walked last weekend about the fact that they arrive here for the weekend and the garbage
It's full.
lines are full. So I think we need to address it.
It exceeds my spending authority, but if the board would be willing to entertain authorizing the program we had over the summer, I think it did bear fruit, and we have seen behavior improvements in the process of the recycling.
That's the main thing, is, just spending more money on it is one thing, but it's getting
Behavior.
adherence to the proper, we have,
Still cardboard in the dumpsters, everywhere,
Well,
everywhere.
that's a big thing.
John, are you talking about recycling, or are you talking about trash?
I don't call it.
I receive complaints about trash.
About trash.
Correct.
As opposed to someone.
Trash bins are full.
Trash bins are full.
And, with the amount of properties we're selling, I think that's kind of a normal cycle.
I think everybody's throwing things away.
And the remodeling, a lot of remodeling.
Sure.
Now, as far as,
How many bins are in each dumpster?
depending on volume, there should be 2, some are 3. So to split this into the trash, one of the solutions that I would recommend, we can go to a slightly larger can, and for those blinds that only have 2, install a 3rd. I could get pricing for the board within 7 days on what that type of increase would cost. But volumetrically, if we go to the larger cans, it's about a 20% increase in volume. It may not seem like a lot, but that's about as big of a can as we could fit in there, and people still be able to lift over the rim.
You said that your staff is estimated at 180 full-time. How are you guys figuring that? Because that puts us near 17% of the homes here.
Basically surveillance, so what I'm asked security to do is, and it may sound creepy, that's why I was hesitant to say, but basically track how frequently we're seeing the cars, and is it the same car, just so we have an idea of who's present. It's anecdotal.
Another, and no, I actually like it. I wonder, so Vicky does all of the resale packets.
Right.
Is there anything in there that answers the question on whether or not the buyer is a full or part-time homeowner when she's doing that, so that we can start recording?
No, but
That's the best way to do it,
I
right
agree
then
with
and
you.
there, with their attention. It may change like ours did, but I mean, at least
Right.
from the attention.
well, the ideal would be the mailing address, but you cannot get a Hidden Valley post office box until after you've received your deed or a closing statement, so.
Yeah, it's just intention.
Right.
All I'm saying is, if there's a way to
I
gauge
think,
their intention, when you buy this, what is your intention at purchase? Is it a part-time getaway place, is it a full-time place? And that could really help us get a jump on understanding who we're serving as a board and committees.
well, administratively, we can modify the new owner form, which we ask them to complete, and we can place it prominently, please, provide your intention, full-time, weekend, and we can start tracking that data.
And maybe there's something we can do with the mailing out of the bills, you know, quarterly, next one goes out, maybe we can put something in there that can be returned. I don't know how that works, but
But I'll look into that.
I think it's important for us to understand where we're sitting, because I think we've had a drastic change in homeownership.
It feels that way,
It feels that way.
but I like the data,
That would be an increase of almost 50 people
correct.
full-time.
Which I think was anticipated in the SLRP, I just don't think they anticipated it for 6 months.
I think it helps.
So, maybe you and I can talk about it,
Yeah.
maybe the best way, or a couple of ways that we can kind of figure that out.
I agree with you, so the ECI, let's do that, we'll immediately change the intake side, and then in the communications, see if we can get that data.
Yeah, we'll chat.
Okay, moving on, John, Community Outreach Coordinator, that's you now.
That is me now. We had a great, Labor Day party. I want to thank Robin, Aaron, and all of the volunteers, and everyone in the community. It was wonderful. My wife and I came up to help volunteer. We had Chris up here helping, and it was wonderful to see everyone enjoying the good weather and the food. I'm not aware of any events beyond what's coming up for Halloween, and the best place to maintain track of that would be the weekly update.
Very good. On to committee reports. Bob?
Covered finance and audit.
Okay. Any report, will we have a page on the Architectural Control Committee, since Bill is absent? Anything from the Maintenance Committee, Doug?
Brian has a report in there that's got all the items on it, so you
Okay.
should be able to read all those.
We don't have a report from Rules and Regs. We do have an update from Social and Rec with regard to the Labor Day picnic. I think it's an issue that they did raise, and I know not everybody will read the reports. Making reservations is very important, and just like with the pool during the summer, if you're not going to be able to be there, please try to cancel your reservation. Obviously, that committee works hard to make sure that everybody gets the food that is planned, and they end up having a lot left over. I think that's been a recurring problem in the last couple of months, so we just ask members of the community, it's okay to have a change in plans, but you gotta let them know.
And Pat, to your point, they can email help, H-E-L-P, at H as in Henry, V as in Victor, F as in Frank, today.com, help@hvftoday.com. And all of staff will always get that email.
Okay, great.
I have, once I read her report, I teed up, I have a scheduled post to go out on Life page,
Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
kind of bringing that up, and that's scheduled to hit tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't wanna sound, but we had, I think, close to 40 reservations which were no-show, and we were having to hand out the free food.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of waste,
Yeah.
you know.
So, and again, if canceling those reservations worked with the pool this summer, so if everybody could kind of pass the word on that, we'll all be better off. We have a page from Branding Media. We also, we don't have a new report from the strategic long-range plan, but there is, the dashboard itself is updated. And I did want to, just make a few points with regard to the strategic long-range plan. If everybody will recall, the board acted on it earlier this year, and so the committees are, have been up and running. So everyone is aware, the plan calls for the formation of 11 new committees and have an ad hoc working team. As of September 2020, all 11 committees have been formed and are at various stages of progress. Just real quick, we have a leadership development committee, walking paths and trails, long-term dining solutions, Wi-Fi, sustainable energy, cross-country ski, hiking, snowmobile trails, which has been combined with the walking paths and trails, real estate value and demographics, landscape, water and wastewater services, safety and communication. Those committees have all been very active. If you access the website, you'll be able to see the dashboard, which outlines the progress they've made. It's a very basic reporting system. You know, green means good and go. Yellow means there may be some impediments to moving forward, and red means they're at a stop, and that may be a temporary stop. So I am gonna ask everybody to take advantage of the information that's being shared monthly. I think, very soon, undoubtedly before the end of the year, the leaders of that committee are going to be meeting to determine where we are, what information needs to be fed to the board in terms of funding some of the initiatives that have been proposed. The board will need to make a determination as to whether or not, those items can be addressed in this year's budget, or if they'll be passed on to the next year's budget. But I do want everybody to know who's active on those committees that, we're paying attention to the work that you're doing. Needless to say, we're not going to be able to undertake every single initiative in the short run, and the board, along with the committees, will be setting priorities and moving forward to meet the goals of the strategic long-range plan for, the years 20 through 2025. Didn't mean to go on. Okay, so, we also have a page from the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee. It's been an extremely busy committee getting ready for the upcoming board election, but they have also been very busy and have been coordinating with the strategic long-range plan in order to get those task forces filled. So we would appreciate their effort. There is a full report from the Landscape Committee. I think everybody is aware that that committee has been extremely active, and they have started their work down at the Heights. John, can you give a little bit of an update as to the status of that?
Yes, the first phase of that project, it was to remove 21 of the infected pine trees. Those have come down, and Dennis had sent an update that he and his committee will be out Saturday doing some staking, and planting will begin in short order. It's of course going to be weather dependent. If it's raining, we don't want equipment out there causing a mess. And that will be part of the update that will go in the weekly report to the community as to.
There's Dennis was kind enough to provide a brief report, and that went out today. John Wolf was kind enough to add it to that section of the website, so that's all there. Including some pictures of the before and after stuff, so it's kind of good.
It's a big change already.
Right.
It really is.
Much needed.
Yes, yes. Okay, any other questions with regard to the committee report? If not, do I have a motion to accept the committee report?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Second by Doug. Any questions? If not, not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? So ordered. Report, HV utility services fund.
So a couple of things to report on the HV utility services front. Under the terms of the McCloskey case, Hidden Valley Utility Services is required to file a 60-day status report, and they did file that report this week. So I will be circulating that to the board, and since that's a public document, I think we can post that on the
We
website.
sure can, absolutely.
Forward that to you, John, to do that. Secondly, and this kind of links back to past report on the Strategic Long Range Planning Committee, one of those subcommittees is the Water and Wastewater Committee, which has been very active, including to visit the Hidden Valley Utilities site where the water treatment plant construction is actually underway. Dan Martin's on the call tonight, he's one of the members of the Water Committee, and he has actually been down there hawking and walking the site and checking on what is going on there. So, we are trying to monitor very closely, the work that is going on down there. So footers have been dug and poured, and there's some plumbing work done, there's a lot of other work to be done, but at least I can report that some work is being done towards the installation of the water treatment plant.
Sounds like a, picture opportunity. I gotta get down there and take some pictures.
Yeah, Dan has some good pictures he's already taken, so, I can tap into that.
Gotta get that going.
Okay, great.
Yep.
That's a very significant positive report. Security incident report, we have a page there, not too much noteworthy, John.
No, ma'am, thankfully.
If Chris is on the line, Chris Lindbergh, is there a report from the Jefferson Township meeting? Didn't I see him?
I don't see him on there.
No.
He, hold on.
Well, if he isn't,
He sent something out today.
right,
I saw that.
and then
Yeah, it didn't go to you. That's why you didn't see it. It went to me and John.
Yeah.
So, he's leaving on a camping trip with the ski patrol, so he wanted to get something in there. There wasn't much to report about the township meeting. John asked me to ask them about one of those speed detector signs, like there's one in Sullivan's parking lot, I guess, or
Correct.
stuff that we've had here on occasion. They don't own one of those, so
Right.
that's all PennDOT stuff, and we have to go through our state rep for that, or whatever. That's really it. There wasn't a whole lot that he reported on. He just wanted to make sure that he got stuff in, and that was really all that.
I do have two addendums to that, if the board would like. The township hasn't formally published it, but their garage that's on the north side of 31, which is the two barns, that is going to be on the market. And they jokingly asked if the board would entertain buying that. I said, I'm not, if you can send the board a letter, I'm not getting into politics of that.
So they're moving their stuff to the south
To
side.
the south side.
Which is where they've been building.
Correct.
Barnes movable?
No,
Not,
Concrete building.
yeah,
no way.
okay.
Not happening.
All right.
Just saying.
Well, the second part of it, I think, was more of a joke, but discussion of a land swap, and I said, that's something you have to send a letter to the board.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, John or Doug, do an update on the salt dome?
The salt dome is proceeding with Gibson Thomas doing the drawings for the drainage. They asked that we provide, basically, footprints for the building. So I talked to Brian at the maintenance committee meeting, and the footprint for the salt bin will be given, and also come up with a footprint for parking vehicles on the season there. So that square footage we give to Gibson Thomas, that'll go in the calculations for the drainage. So in 2 weeks, we'll have an answer, so we anticipate by the next board meeting, the drawings will be completed.
Correct.
Then the drawings will be.
Yeah, and the site plan.
Okay, very
So
good.
we'll have a full site plan by then.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Okay, an update on the Southbridge Center building project. I think I'll take that. I just want to take a few minutes to discuss where we are with the proposed Southbridge Center 2 project. Dave Fiola, our board secretary and author in large part of the Foundation's weekly update, has provided much of the background on where and how and when the planning for this project started and how the plans have been delayed and then restarted in the last couple of years. If you haven't read that background in the latest weekly update, I suggest you go back and read it, because I think it is very helpful to give you an idea of where we've been and where we're going. I'm gonna say finally, the board is in a position to move forward with this project and to share with the community, what our proposed plan is. The community will recall that these plans started because our snack shack at the pool was not code compliant, that, the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Health, wanted us to have exterior showers that would service the pool, and obviously we need bathrooms that are accessible not only to the pool, but that are accessible to those who are engaged in activities here at the Southridge Center. Many years ago, unbelievably many years ago, the board established a capital budget for this project of $250,000. Had the project been done many years ago, that would have been sufficient. In 2020, that simply is not the case. And unfortunately, we have the same deficiencies. So we've got a dilemma. The board intends to move forward to meet the requirements of the Department of Agriculture and the local code relating to showers and the snack shack and bathroom facilities. But with the changes that are happening at Hidden Valley, the increase in the number of full-time residents, and frankly, the increase in the number of part-time or rental opportunities here at Hidden Valley, really do evidence a need for additional social and recreational space. We've explored alternatives to the original plan, and again, you'll be able to read more about that if you take advantage of the history that David provided. The original plan, and when I say the original plan, as recently as 2019, the plan was to add an addition to the existing facility near the pool. When we got serious about the plan, we were advised by our engineer and other professionals that that was not in the best interest of our pool facility, and in fact would be detrimental to the pool. So now we have a plan that you're going to hear a lot about on October 3rd, and we'll talk more about that. But we have a new plan. The building will be located behind the wading pool and to the side of the rear of the current Southridge Center. That building is intended to address the issues with the snack shack, the exterior showers, and the restrooms. But in addition to that, given our increased need and interest in social and rec space, we will have additional, I'll call it social and rec space, additional activity space. I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there, and I know from reading Facebook, there are a lot of questions out there about how we're going to pay for it. And we have a plan to do that. Obviously, if we were to move forward with more conventional construction, we wouldn't be able to afford it. So we have an alternative plan that involves the construction of a Morton building, and we're going to be able to provide detailed information on that at our meeting that we've scheduled for October 3rd, which is a Saturday, 10 a.m. Our plan right now is to convene a meeting in the parking lot or in the area behind the current Southridge Center. We'll set up chairs and areas that are socially distant so we can make this presentation. If the weather is bad, we'll do it by Zoom inside, and that will be a closed meeting. But if we're able to do it outside, we intend to Zoom that as well. We will also videotape it and put it on the website so that anybody who is unable to attend will have access to the information. At that time, and hopefully, we are hopeful that we'll be able to do this in person, we're going to ask you to bring your questions. I'm going to also ask everybody to take a look at the most recent surveys that were done in conjunction with the strategic long-range plan. And I think everybody will see that the responses with regard to this new construction project in 2015 showed that the community, by and large, was not in favor of moving forward that had changed significantly, and a great majority of people involved were interested in a new facility and expressed agreement that we needed to move forward with the plan. The details are important, isn't that what everybody says? The devil is in the details. So we really want everybody to mark their calendar for October 3rd. We have some basic renderings now. We'll have more information on October 3rd. We hope to give you an idea then of the nature of the construction, the design of the building, and the intended purposes for the building. So, please join us on October 3rd and, you know, join this exciting project for the community. Okay? New business. We need a motion, to approve the volunteer application of Marie Bob for Select Committee Real Estate Value and Demographics Committee.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Doug,
I'll second it.
second by John Newport. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. I need a motion to approve the Ridgeview Drainage Project.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Doug,
I'll second that.
second by Bob. Any questions on that motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. We need a motion to approve the road salt vendor. That information is included in your packet. John Sabo, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Basically, staff went out to several vendors, the bids are contained within, and I would go with the recommendation that Brian had made in that regard.
Brian was recommending Cargill.
Cargill, yeah.
They're the historic vendor that we've had. The other bidder was gonna start charging us a fee that we didn't know if we didn't take, if we needed more salt. And the other one was, we had basically a cap fee where we were gonna have to spend all the money regardless if we did purchase all the salt. So the Cargill's the only one who basically, if you need $1 worth of salt, you spend $1.
Right.
Everybody else was gonna charge you something other than your dollars.
And to that point, Cargill came in at $88.30 per ton.
Same price as last year.
Correct. And Doug's correct, Central Salt essentially had a mandate purchase and a clawback provision. And that is antithetical to us being efficient with putting down salt. And then American Rock Salt was $94 at a ton, so again,
Not even close.
not even close.
No, no. Stay with who we.
We're recommending Cargill at a price of $88.30 per ton for $1,700 estimated. It's not an obligation.
May I have a motion to approve Cargill as the salt vendor for 2021?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How much did we use last year, do you know?
Approximately $1,650.
Yeah, it was almost 1,700.
Okay, and it was not a bad year.
We did have quite a bit of icing. Right, yeah.
So, that's probably a very good estimate.
Yeah, we had the 3 ice incidents, 10 days apart through the February,
Yeah.
and that really consumed a lot.
Well, especially President's Weekend, because we had the warm-up and then the hard freeze at night. It was treacherous on occasions.
Well, we've had good experience with it in the past. I think that's the correct recommendation.
Well, and the
They're
other,
friendly. I mean, they're not the cheapest per ton by a couple of bucks, but they're the most user-friendly.
well, and the other benefit of Cargill is they have 2 points of access. So if the river freezes over, we've got the rail point, which is just an hour north. So it's in a crisis, it would be nice to have those 2 points for delivery.
Can I have a motion to approve Cargill?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Bob, second by John. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. We have a motion to approve the volunteer application of Deb Watson for the Marketing and Communications Committee.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Doug,
Second.
second by Dave. Any questions on the motion? not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Motion to approve the volunteer applications of Dennis Carroll, Alice Blitzer, Michael Dowling, Linda Lackey, and Marie Pfaff for the landscaping committee.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Dave, second by John Newport. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Now, the agenda says the next meeting date is October 16th. That's true for our monthly meeting, but, our, Southbridge Center meeting will be October 3rd at 10 a.m., hopefully outside of this building, and we're hoping everybody can attend. Oh, that's right. Another, date to put on your calendar is the October 10th Meet the Candidate event, which is gonna be by Zoom, right?
Well, technically, Wolf is going to be lifting the restriction, but that opens another issue. So I would recommend we do it by Zoom.
But we believe at this time it will be a Zoom event, but do mark your calendars. Is it a morning, guys? Do we have time?
It's been an evening in the past.
It's been an evening in the past.
We'll make sure that that is prominent in the
Yeah, well,
weekly.
to be determined, yeah, once we get that.
We do have Chris Humboldt, we can unmute him and ask him for clarity, if that's okay with the board.
Yeah, let's do it. Where's Chris?
There he is.
Sorry, I didn't
Let
know.
me unmute you. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Pat.
Do you know what time the Meet the Candidate event is on the 10th?
Yeah, we were planning for 10 a.m.
Okay.
And Chris, were you planning a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, we didn't have any basis to plan otherwise, so we've been planning a Zoom meeting.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So thank you, Chris. So we're talking about, the Meet the Candidate event, October 10th at 10 a.m., which will be by Zoom only.
Right.
I'll remember that, 10. Okay, anything else for the good of the order? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Dave,
I'll second.
second by Doug. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. 7:44.
7:44. Well, congratulations.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
And we weren't Zoom on, thank God.
I had 22 or 23.
25 total attendance, we had a couple people join and drop, so I was doing a tally.
Okay.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That's a good.